For over 2 decades, patients trusted him with their lives. He wore the white coat, he carried a stethoscope, he walked the polished corridors of hospitals. He gave press interviews, signed prescriptions, and most shockingly, performed medical procedures. And for all those years, no one knew. Not the hospitals, not the patients, not even the health department. This is the chilling story of a man who faked being a doctor in the United States. But for nearly 20 years, a story filled with deception, blind trust, and real-world consequences that left lives damaged forever. The man called himself Dr. Karl Winters. He dressed the part perfectly, clean-cut hair, professional glasses, sharp suits under his lab coat. His ID badge looked legitimate. His online credentials seemed authentic, and he never hesitated when using medical jargon. In fact, if you ever saw him speak, you'd believe he was one of the best in the field, confident, calm, charming. But the truth was far darker. He never had a medical license. He never graduated from medical school. He never completed a residency. And yet, in the eyes of hundreds of people, he was Dr. Winters, neurosurgeon. How did he pull this off? Let's go back to the year 1999, the beginning. A man named Karl Winters, originally from Baltimore, had bounced between jobs in data entry, freelance writing, and security work. Friends described him as intelligent but oddly quiet. He had a habit of mimicking others, their way of speaking, their body language, even their professions. One day, while sitting in the hospital with his younger brother, who had been admitted for seizures, Karl noticed something. The doctors came and went quickly. No one seemed to ask them many questions. They gave orders. Nurses followed. The doctors scribbled on charts and vanished. It felt powerful, clean, untouchable. That was the seed. In the weeks that followed, Karl began researching how doctors operated inside hospital systems. Not medicine. No, he wasn't interested in learning biology. He studied how doctors moved, how they talked, what made them believable. Then slowly the transformation began. By 2001, Karl had changed his name to Dr. Karl Winters and used Photoshop to create a fake medical diploma from Johns Hopkins University. He bought a used lab coat online and stitched his name onto it. He even made a LinkedIn profile listing years of experience at made-up clinics. Incredibly, he landed his first hospital volunteer position, just observing. But once inside, he started acting like staff, giving instructions, scribbling notes, following interns. He blended in so smoothly that no one stopped to verify his documents. Within 2 years, Dr. Winters was seen walking through patient wards, greeting families and making rounds. Still, he hadn't crossed the line yet. But then came the year 2004, when things took a much darker turn. At a private hospital in Oregon, a real neurologist went on sudden medical leave. There was a staffing shortage. That's when Dr. Winters appeared. With his impeccable appearance, calm voice, and forged documents, the administration, desperate and overwhelmed, did only basic checks. By the end of the month, he was in charge of the neurology department. Imagine that, a man with no medical license, no formal education, now overseeing life and death decisions. And then he began performing procedures. A patient named Jonathan Marks had suffered a head trauma after a bike accident. He needed emergency consultation. Dr. Winters ordered a scan, which he correctly interpreted. It shocked even the staff. How did he know? The answer was disturbing. Dr. Winters had spent years watching videos of surgeries, reading public textbooks, and observing real doctors. He had developed a surface-level mastery of terminology and diagnosis patterns, enough to sound credible, enough to guess correctly, but not enough to actually understand the human body. Still, the patients believed him. The hospital praised him. He was even invited to a medical conference in 2006 as a panel speaker, where he gave a speech about patient dignity in neurosurgery and received a standing ovation. Behind the scenes, Winters started to earn money through consultations in cash. He opened a private clinic under a rented address and ran ads online. His website listed him as board certified in neurological sciences. He even had fake reviews from former patients. He worked on headaches, migraines, seizure management. He prescribed medications illegally by forging a DEA number. And shockingly, he wasn't caught. Not even when in 2008, a woman named Clara Mitchell died hours after being treated by him for what he said was nerve fatigue. He had administered a muscle relaxant, dosage unverified. When she collapsed, he disappeared before paramedics arrived. It was ruled a natural cause due to existing heart conditions. But things were slowly unraveling. A young intern named Rashid had started noticing inconsistencies. "He never taught us anything," Rashid later said. He just nodded and walked away. Rashid confronted Winters about a misdiagnosis once, and Winters gave a vague answer before quickly deflecting. That day, Rashid pulled up the American Medical Registry and couldn't find any trace of Dr. Karl Winters. Still, he stayed quiet. He wasn't sure. What if it was a clerical error, that fear of accusing a senior, respected figure? That fear was what protected Winters. He thrived in systems where people hesitated to speak. By 2010, his fake career had lasted nearly a decade. He had moved across 4 states, working under different hospital systems. Each time, new forged paperwork. Each time, a new email. But always the same name, same voice, same confidence. A few hospitals had suspicions. One administrator noted that Winters never picked up emergency night shifts. Another remembered that he refused to discuss patient deaths in reviews. But no formal complaint was made. It wasn't until 2015, nearly 15 years after he first put on that coat, that the wall began to crumble. Winters had taken a job at a regional care facility in Pennsylvania. There, a nurse named Angela Reyes started asking questions. She had worked with real neurosurgeons for years and noticed something strange. Dr. Winters never performed hands-on work. He always had excuses. Nurse